Welcome, ladies and gents, to a historic and iconic magical moon message. What makes this moon message iconic and historic isn't so much the message as much as the actual transit that we are talking about. Of course, moon in Gemini, sun in Aries. Of course, Gemini would be involved. I'm not biased at all or anything. But welcome to the true understanding of who you are and your power and what you're here to do. Don't mind my voice, frequencies and vibrations and yada 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 reasons. I would first of all like to invite you to remember, if you don't like me, it's cool. That's not even what I wanted to say. I just interrupted myself. If you don't like me, it's cool. Shout out to those of you who do. I know I have a resting bitch face and a cap moon, but it's a fell. But you know what I'm saying? If you don't like me, it's cool. I'm not here to be liked or loved. I'm here to do what I'm meant to do. And this is the same realization that you're having, because the sacred axiom is, I am you, you are me, in a different space under the sea. Under the sea. Okay, I need to stop freestyling. But once again, this is very important. The first thing that I'd like to remind you is that it's the end of the world. We're in the apocalypse. We are unveiling the end of an old cycle. In America and Paris or France return later, and we're seeing it end. I'm sure maybe you thought it would be like the movie 2012 or aliens and flying saucers and just violence everywhere. And for those of you who believe that would be like that, give it a couple years. Give it a couple years. Wait till Pluto goes into Aquarius. Yeah. I'm just letting you know right now. For those of you who've been wanting to get off grid, you better hurry the fuck up. Y'all know, everyone who's trying to get off the grid and stock on supplies are like, the peace dealer, we've been known. We've been stocking up on our weapons. I'm not saying this to scare you. This is just what the leaders and authorities are teasing as a new world order. And there's how I'm saying it and how it sounds and how it's actually going to play out. And you would think during a period of total anarchy and the fall of government authority, infrastructure wouldn't be able to maintain itself. But given that most things are digital, it would probably feel like it's not even happening when it's happening. Okay, I hope that is kind of familiar now, because there's so much that's happening. I want you to contemplate that behind the veil of Neptune and Pisces, sextiling the corporate and government authority that is all that collective power. Behind those shadows, there's so much happening right now, and there's only crumbs that the general public is being revealed. This is not a bad thing, because they're not our overlords. So they're not our source of information. Hopefully other people aren't a source of information for you. And the first source you tap in is the one within you. The kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. Okay. However you manifest that is unique to you. And so you just want to be mindful of that. We're entering a 5 to 10 year span where everything that's always been happening is being completely revealed. Not exposed, revealed, almost as if a veil is being released. So you see what's actually been happening. Most of you already know because you live it, as everyone has a unique puzzle piece in this wholesome collective dance. And also battle, because it's a spiritual dance battle. Oh, it's as cliche as you think. And after all this is done, we'll be at the casting party like, you are such a dick on stage. You killed me. Like, why? And that's as cliche as you think, too. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to point number one. It's the end of the fucking world. Welcome to the apocalypse. Right. We are 3 years in since 2020. 2 years. We are 2 years in since 2020, March 21, when we had the quadruple conjunction before, millions of people died from a bio weapon. But what we're seeing here, other than don't get distracted by Ukraine and all that, this is now the happening, right? The first thing that I want to make sure we're clear here once again is that it is an apocalypse cycle. And I need you to just understand the context of how most people who you'll talk to will not acknowledge that. That in and of itself is a collective illusion. Okay? It's kind of like you're on a plot of a show. When I say Truman Show, you may think of an actual casting crew, but most of this is theoretical, conceptual. It's playing out in the meaning behind the actions to where we don't need a theoretical casting crew. People are playing roles. They're not really themselves. People are living a life that's not really theirs, and they're being led by narratives to now drive certain characters who oppose those narratives divergence into a certain way. So this moon in Gemini is giving you true understanding of who you are within that collective plot. That Saturn in Aquarius, okay, that's trining the moon and sextiling the sun. And that is why I have to make sure we are clear. It's the end of the world, okay? If you're still incorporating old tradition, old wisdom, old knowledge, I question if you know what you're really doing, because your own soul is feeding you in. I'm not even going to say new. There's nothing new under the sun. Unique understanding, individual understanding. You're a part of a collective that's bringing in I'm not even going to say new, the next social environment, the next individuality, the next world, the next reality. It's not something far out. It's literally happening now. It's literally happening. Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. So this is a reality check where you come into your true identity. This is on top of being during an apocalypse cycle in the third and final part of this first phase before Pluto goes into Aquarius next year, and that is really the beginning of the end of the world, because it's the end of that karmic cycle, and any Saturn and Pisces will let you know that they're returning their power to facilitate the sweeping of the rug. Basically everything that's been swept under the rug by society, Saturn and Pisces gets to clean up. That's why Saturn and Pisces doesn't really like a lot of people, because they deal with that and then you gaslight them. But other than that, what's very important, shout out to Saturn and Pisces. Ooh, don't worry, you're not Saturn Aquarius. They got fucked. They got the Pluto square. But other than that, this is very, very important, y'all. I'm not really trying to digress. I kind of want to go all over the place just to kind of connect certain things. Really allow people the luxury to dislike you. This is a part of like old social expectation where you're like forced to be, no one's putting a gun to your face, but some people get so preoccupied on what positive or negative reactions they get that you forget people interacting with you as a luxury. But there is a luxury of people disliking you, not because you're antagonizing them, but because that's just their decision to. They wouldn't do it if you didn't provide that. Okay, something to keep in mind with the moon square Neptune, where people aren't going to have all the Virgo details, because there's nothing in Virgo, before they cast judgments and project perceptions, especially if they're delusional and they think they know stuff, and they don't. Okay? This is where certain people can feel like you feel a certain way about them that you don't. You may not even know they exist like that. And you don't want to get caught up in that versus the Aries drive to just move forward. Because once again, what's happening right now? This is the final part of the activation of new power, with which within the past week, you've done multiple things in application of this new power. And it's not like you're unaware of this, because Mercury was aligned with the sun. And so this is a new cognition of applying this identification of spirit. And so you manifested this physically in your values in your body. And this is the intellectual understanding of what to call this power, the true identity of this power, the true understanding of the nature of this power, how to really think about this power. In fact, with the moon that's King Kungsing Pluto, this is Pluto very subconsciously and psychologically and extremely intensely at the bone density, the quantum level, is integrating into your behavior old behaviors and patterns of thinking that will uplift you out of old psychological manipulations from insecure pieces of shit who, outside of their ability to deceive, can't do anything, and so are mad at you because you're actually creative and you're about that life and you're with the shits. It's your fault that you enabled them in any way to influence you, because that in a certain place meant that you doubted yourself. And I'm guilty of that myself. And we just get up and we take our power back So you're taking your power back. The activation of this cycle. Remember, the new moon in Aries is activating power. This is exhibiting uncharacteristic reactions from people who think they're tough, and then you call them out on their bullshit, and then they switch up and start lying like they're not grown adults who can't just be honest about what they felt, but have to spin tall tales just to duck smoke, but still try and keep their ego and seem tough, even though they are lying. Okay? Hurt people are hurting people, guys. Don't fall for the trap of reacting negatively to this. Just really see how your own power triggers this in people on top of what people may be going through. Okay? There's a very wise adage that says, you don't know what people are going through. Be kind. And I want to add to that adage. Regardless of what those people are going through, if they cross the line, clap them. End them. Kill them with kindness, literally. Make sure they're dead, but kindly. Because no matter what people are going through, they better learn to respect your boundaries. Does that make sense? This is Aries season, so really keep that in mind. Because the moon's going to go into Cancer, and you're going to understand this new power in a way that helps you feel more comfortable in your skin than you've ever felt. So now you don't have to feel that resistance where you feel like you're being controversial for telling somebody to suck your dick. Now there's just full understanding in the protecting of your boundaries when you're like, excuse me, you can give me fellatio right now. You have a great day. There's not even any anger bouncing off. It's just you know what you're gonna tolerate. We're here. Okay? I want you to bask in this new mindset, this new attitude. Some of you don't have an attitude and it shows. Some of you just need to talk saucy. You need to talk juicy, biggie. You know what I'm saying? You need to be VIG for a day and just talk and just spit that God talk. You know what I'm saying? That angelic essence. You don't have to think about how to do this. Just get in your own vibe and just let the words flow. Freestyle today. Have a good day. Do it in your own way. See what you can do so you can go. And I'm trying to think of a word that rhymes with day, but I could just rhyme with another word because I'm absurd. I could even show you the process because I'm a nerd. And you don't have to worry about the turds because the shit don't stink over here. You heard? And yeah, other than that, my friends, the more fun you have with this, the better. You are understanding your individual ideas in connection with collective knowledge as a part of collective groups sharing knowledge with each other. And so the best thing I can say is people will steal your ideas if you let them. Don't be naive. And other than that, I want to make sure we're clear here. This is not conceptual. This is not metaphorical. This is quite literal. So Gemini is this open door into the adventure. You create your character when the game starts. Then you get the weapons and the items and what you need. That's Taurus. Then you walk out that door and you step in the neighborhood. You go on your adventure. That's Gemini. So trust me when I say this is the last part of the activation cycle where some of you are going to hold an old man's stick and he's going to say my name. And you'll say the name and you'll get a lightning strike and that won't be, any kind of weird sexual abuse and you'll get superpowers. So keep that in mind. This is going to be very personal. In the show Bleach, if you think about any show, anime, or live action, the superhero or the hero always has a name to their power. The word Gemini of the power, which is linked with their identity. The nature of their power is always linked with their personality, okay? This is you with the square to Pisces, understanding the metaphysical nature of your divine self through the application of how you intellectually understand who you are. Because some of you thought you knew who you are, but you're way more amazing than you ever gave yourself credit for. And so you are experiencing intellectually the application of your superpowers to where you're going to know, Saturn Aquarius, what to call it. And then you're going to feel about it when the moon's in Cancer, like, oh my gosh, I did this, I got this. Because once the moon's in Virgo, what you're starting, you're going to master. Godspeed. Peace.